Oh, Nitpick.
Oh. Hey. Me? Oh, I'm just enjoying my Mario Party.
Mario Party is one of the most disappointing Nintendo franchises. Not because the games are bad. In fact, they're like junk food. Something you purchase to enjoy momentarily before later regretting the spent money. Each entry released screams cash grab with recycled or half-assed ideas.
What we're gonna do is take a journey through Partyville, highlighting features these games do right and critiquing how it's evolved over the years.
Starting with Mario Party 1. A small gang of Mario characters bicker over who amongst them is the superstar. Weirdly, none of them seem to understand what superstar means.
I guess that puts us in the same boat.
Blinded with frustration, the group decides it's high time to gang rape a local Toad.
Oh!
The deed is commencing when Toad hurls himself into the air, proposing a contest within the company to decide who is the superstar. Whatever that means. Enter the hub world.
Mushroom Village.
Which harbors our bank, item shop, minigame areas, options, and of course, the warp pipe to begin your adventure. What I love is that these are pretty much just menu selections that in any other game would be presented as simple text. But Mario Party instead gives each area its own touch. Even the option house, which allows you to switch from stereo to mono or erase all your saved data, adding up to a grand total of 2 activities.
It's all completely unnecessary and a bit silly, but damned if it isn't loaded with personality.
The item shop sells enhancements, such as blocks that appear randomly during gameplay, boxes that increase your coin count totals, and useless garbage, such as a fly guy that records how many times you've rotated the joystick.
We'll be coming back to that one.
In the bank, you can open the vault to access and activate purchased items and check coin and star counts. The minigame house allows the purchase of minigames found in board play, but
Without getting too far ahead of ourselves, let's go on an adventure.
Mario Party is Nintendo's attempt at a board game within a video game.
Gameception?
4 players choose an avatar, then take turns traversing a map. Each turn consists of one player rolling, or smashing the dice since this is Mario, moving the shown number of spaces and then passing off to whoever's next in line. Once everyone's gone, all participants then compete in an
arguably
fun, randomly selected minigame for coins. The next round then begins. This continues for a set number of turns before the conclusion. The player with most stars at game's end is declared a superstar! Whatever that means. Stars are gathered by visiting a Toad space and paying 20 coins to the greedy troll. He then usually switches board locations, but on certain maps just sits on his happy ass, waiting for players to circle back around. What a lazy hack.
Can we talk about how the superstar is essentially determined by who pays Toad the most money?
The hell is this? A video game or reality simulator? While each board has its own gimmicks, they all share similar space types with varying effects. Typical blue rewards 3 coins, while red subtracts 3. The mushroom presents a dice which, from what I can tell, has a 2/3 chance of giving a fungi, which grants an immediate extra turn and a 1/3 chance for a poison shroom, which causes a bad trip. Literally. Look at Wario, I think he's had enough.
Oh my god!
This results in the loss of a turn. Question mark or event spaces usually activate a global trigger, affecting the map in some way. Whether this be a rolling boulder which pushes players out of the way, or a turntable between Toad and Bowser, each board has unique events. Bowser spaces transport players to Koopa himself, who either steals coins in a variety of ways or forces players to participate in Bowser games. Just normal minigames set to BS mode, where losers forfeit 20 coins. Many NPCs also inhabit these boards with varying abilities, but a select 4 are almost always present. Toad, Bowser, Koopa, Boo. Toad, Bowser, Koopa, Boo. Toad, Bowser, Koopa, Boo. Toad, of course, jacks your money for stars. Koopa simulates Monopoly, waiting at the starting area paying 10 coins to whoever passes go. Bowser is weirdly uninteresting, usually just creating a not so elaborate con to force players out of coins, and that's it.
What a letdown.
Most interesting of all is Boo. He either steals a random amount of 1 to 15 coins from a player of your choice, or can be paid 50 to steal someone else's star. Damn! Oh yeah, I forgot.
Chance time!
Probably the most infamous space of all, Chance Time presents users with 3 rotating blocks. Once one's hit, the other 2 enter warp drive, so good luck choosing a favorable outcome. The 2 on either side represent the characters playing. Once smacked and a character chosen, their icons removed from the opposing side, so someone could never give themselves coins or stars. The center selections presented here are give 10, 20, or 30 coins, switch stars, or give a star. Most will look at the middle block and say,
Geez, sure is a lot of random options there. Better choose one of these on the side.
Wrong!
while it may not seem possible, there is a memorizable pattern to the middle block. It's just way longer.
What I'm trying to say is yes, you can get better outcomes in chance time if you really care. Most won't.
Let's take a look at the order. We have left 10, right star, left 20, switch coins, left 30, right 10, left star, right 20, right 30, switch star. Then repeat.
That's it. That's all you need to be good at Mario Party.
There exists a caveat, though. Switch star is so good, it only appears every other rotation. So on the second go-round after right 30 comes left 10 instead, the first facing. But on the third, switch star comes back out of hiding to say hello.
Hey, buddy.
Memorizing these can wreak havoc on other players if someone's really dedicated enough to being good at the worst Mario Party.
Yeah.
Either way, chance time is an odd inclusion for normal board play that can be a complete game changer. Or a dud. Each board on display can be played for a total of 20, 35, or
50 rounds.
You may be curious, and yes, I calculated the timeout.
a short 20-round game takes an average of 1 hour. This means a 50-round game sits at 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah, I thought it'd be fun to play some Mario Party tonight. How long? Only around like 3 hours. Yeah, for one game. Hello?
Each map has star ratings from 1 to 3, 1 being easiest and 3 hardest. But what makes a board hard? My initial guess was difficult to reach Toad locations. Stars are the main objective, after all. But some hard maps are simpler than easy ones in this regard, so that couldn't be it. Are they considered tougher due to size? No. DK's Jungle, the first 1-star play area, is the largest board, beating our runner-up by almost 10 whole spaces. Then it must be the ratio of positive to negative spaces. No! Blue-related stops clock in at 77.5% on Rainbow Castle and DK's Jungle, respectively, while Magma Mountain and Luigi's Engine Room sit comfortably at 83%. Then, after much deliberation with fellow colleagues and tenured professors, it was made clear to me.
Star ratings don't mean shit.
Our first victim. Give me those 10 starting coins. I'm already over this shit. Right off the bat, you'll notice womps scattered around the map at various forks in the road. Moving past the slab costs 10 coins, but players choosing the fork opposite a womp will prompt it to switch sides, blocking the path for any incoming opponents attempting the same route. And we've already reached a problem. Toad always begins his spawn across the map on DK's jungle. This means that beginning roll, the one that determines who goes first, is crucial. Womp 1 and 2 begin on the left side, and each user needs to choose north for Toad. So whoever rolls a 5 or higher first automatically has the advantage, while the rest forcibly cough up 10 coins in hopes of seeing a star. Not a good start. Jungle's event space hurls a rampaging boulder from a cave in the northeast corner, which quickly chases any poor sod standing on the main drag back towards the starting area. We also have a few trap doors opening to separate but usually insignificant areas if the player landing near them has 20 coins or more on their person? Who dreamt up a stingy door to put in this game?
And that's it. Pretty basic starting board.
Bowser will take 10 coins to give you a gold Beanie Baby, and we have 2 Boo locations. And then there's Toad. My God, have I seen Toad appear in the most ridiculous positions. The same programmer overseeing respawn locations in Call of Duty must have had a hand in Mario Party. From right in front of players to even the spaces they're currently standing on, Toad knows no boundaries. And this happens on every board where Toad switches spots. A viable fix would be having new star locations spawn at the farthest fixed point away from all users. This is done at the start of each game, so why does it stop? Let's say everyone's positions are here. There you go. Here?
Right there be good.
The last issue facing Jungle Adventure is theme. Why are womps here? They aren't native to DK or Mario's jungle levels.
Live in a fortress.
How about wigglers, fuzzies, piranha plants, or spear guys instead? And where the hell are vines and blast barrels? Donkey Kong staples?
Trapdoors, rolling boulders, and treasure. Smells more like Indiana Jones.
Peach is always baking for Mario.
I mean, come on. Girl gets kidnapped every day. I gotta give the man a reason to keep her around.
But the army of slave toads really outdid themselves this time with Peach's birthday cake, which feels like Nintendo's first crack at a Monopoly clone. Cake is a short wraparound board where Toad stays in one location, and players are allowed to purchase happening spaces by paying 30 coins to a suave business Goomba. Once acquired, any opposing character visiting has a star stolen from them and given to the owner. The piranha thief then disappears and the space can be repurchased. A short detour exists 4 spaces before the star where players pay 10 coins and are forced into Suave Goomba's lottery. 4 colored seeds are presented, 3 of which when planted have Toad's face and 1 Bowser. Once the 4 have been sown, Goomba pulls another set out his ass for more fun. Quite an operation you're running there, Buster. Those privileged enough to receive a Toad move on to nab a star, while others are left to the fate of Bowser. Who steals 20 coins, sending you on your way. The biggest load of BS is upon exiting, Goomba makes you play again. And yes, I've seen players lose again and go back to see Bowser. What the hell?
Peach's birthday cake is one of my biggest candidates for Mario Party editing.
The thought process behind this board is great, but the execution is stilted. First off, a 20-turn game is too short to truly get it. Coin buildup can be slow due to the constant paying off of Goomba and Bowser, making stars somewhat limited in shorter play. Come on, who wants to play 2 hours of Mario Party? And doling out 30 coins to only briefly own a single space on the board is too much. Keep in mind this map, being a smaller area, still has 58 spaces. With basic editing that's done before each board, users could experience them in new ways. Let players set the cost of buying stars from Toad, paying Goomba, owning a happening space, or choosing what Bowser does before the match begins.
This is the first game in the series. Go crazy!
My favorite imagined scenario is making the board all about star play. Goomba's Lotto is reduced to 5 coins or completely free, as are stars from Toad. This would make star acquisition way more manageable, while shifting focus more towards owning happening spaces scattered throughout the board's edges to gain advantage. Spaces could still cost 30 coins, but players would keep them until someone lands on it and pays more than the previous owner to own it themselves. Lastly, Bowser could still ask a fee of 20 coins, but steal a star or coins from whoever is in first for himself.
Bingo! Better board, better game. Bada bing, bada boom.
Ooh, look at that!
Welcome to the sun-drenched tropical paradise of Isle Delfino.
Yoshi's Tropical Island! It's a board split into 2 separate halves, with 2 one-way platforms bridging those paths guarded by thwomps, forcing an ever-increasing payment fee to pass through. Curiously, this fee can be set by the player passing, screwing over others with lesser coin counts attempting to cross. Happening spaces summon Bubba, the oversized Cheep Cheep from Mario 64 who swallows Toad, depositing him on the opposite shore once he tastes the failure. His former position replaced by
Bowser.
This is Bowser's chance to really shine.
He instead takes 30 coins while giving you an exploding donut. Continual star swapping leads to moments of pure rage, joy, or even confusion as players scramble towards their goal just to have it snatched right under their noses. Soft locking opponents' progression to opposite islands through coin totals is well enough, but there needed to be more. What if players who didn't have money could instead choose a short, extremely difficult minigame that if they lost got transported to Bowser, or gave all their coins to whoever previously jacked up the toll?
The game could even get progressively harder each time it's played.
This could also be said for Indiana Jones' Boulder Dash in DK's Jungle, a Crash Bandicoot-esque scenario where if you're crushed, it's back to the start for you. This actually applies to all maps in Mario Party. They needed a greater deal of player interaction besides just boringly walking around.
Oh, I landed on another space.
Wario's Battle Canyon had to be thrown together last minute. What a pile of garbage. 5 separate islands inhabit this board with a bob-omb cannon at each. Once a black or red bob-omb is approached, you're loaded into the cannon and blasted to the opposing side. The illusion of choice is then presented as a target reticle bounces to different spaces, choosing a landing zone.
Players are made to think they have power over their destination, when in reality, no.
The reticle shifts far too quick and unpredictable to produce a desirable outcome, so just press A and pray you land next to Toad. I've seen entire 20-turn sessions with 1 star coming into possession. That's how bad this gets. Players are loaded into these cannons with no exceptions. So if Toad decides to spawn here, good luck nabbing that random space. To fail a landing means traversing the entire map just to have a chance at getting it correct next pass. The simple addition of paying a bob-omb to not load the cannon would have fixed this. Bowser sits on the middle island but is completely avoidable here?
Of course, the map to give an option is the worst one.
The only way to reach him being encountering Fly Guy on the Northeast Plateau. He offers a 10 coin fee for either a trip to Bowser's Island or dragging an adversary to you. This can be helpful for general star disruption, but more confusing is having players pay to see Bowser. There's one blue space, which can act as a toad spawn, but besides that, there's no reason to visit Bowser. Unless you really like them one-player minigames. He'll take 20 coins, booting you to a random location. He might as well not be here. Gotta fill that Bowser quota! Happening spaces change canon directions, but honestly, we're done here.
It's not good.
Luigi's engine room sits as the second biggest board after DK's Jungle Adventure. This week's gimmick is blue and red doors, which block or open paths. At the beginning of each turn, they alternate, so planning your route towards Toad, if you can, is preferable. There is a tiny bit of strategy to this through the use of Paisudon, who switches doors for a payout of 20 coins.
20 coins? As much as a star. Of course. Nothing else makes sense, so why should this?
Bowser rips off 20 coins to work his scam machine, which spits out 1. Just like those penny machines, you know, the ones you find on like vacation or whatever that ask for a quarter and a penny to churn out this. A few happening spaces also alternate doors, and one shoots steam up your ass. Just what I always wanted. Each path inevitably ends with a pipe leading to Boo. Not a pretty map to look at, mind you, but one of the better ones.
The most famous board in Mario Party 1 is shit.
Rainbow Castle's a winding path that ends with players either getting a star from Toad or having 40 freaking coins taken by Bowser. Keep in mind, this is a 1-star map. See, the pair reside on a revolving platform, which immediately rotates the second a visiting character gets dropped back off at the start. 5 happening spaces littered about also force this rotation.
Hope you don't have a heart condition, anxiety, or are prone to violent outbursts. Because you're gonna scream. A lot.
Each go-around is a crapshoot. True Mario Party schlock. Yoshi's Tropical Island has a comparable flavor, but at least that board isn't a one-way ticket to Bullshit Town, offering a little player agency. Rainbow Castle is Mario Party at its most deceptive, making it the perfect way to introduce series newcomers. Never change, you filth. Laboring through each board unlocks Magma Mountain. Wait. Where? It's not in the map selections. Toad hasn't mentioned anything. Well, the shop randomly gets new inventory without telling a soul. This is not a joke. Of all places, why would anyone look in the shop for a new board? Oh, there it is. For 980 coins?
And after all that, I have to buy it?
980 is nothing to slouch at. 4 players are lucky to get this much from 2
Entire 20-turn matches.
That's over 2 hours of your life wasted. And what if friends aren't around? Just don't. The game only counts active players when totaling up coin and star counts during finales.
Fuck this game. No, seriously, fuck this game. That's right, I'm playing out the overused walk away cliche.
Nitpick.
Huh? Who goes there?
This is God, Nitpick. Sit your ass down, boy. I'm going to teach you to cheat.
Ooh, I love cheating.
When solo, plug in 4 controllers. Wait till the last player's final turn. Open the menu to controller options, changing all bots to human control. That's the ticket.
And if I don't have 4 controllers?
Then you shouldn't own this game.
Huh? Yeah.
Not only is the ability to gain everything collected by computers a completely ridiculous oversight in Mario Party's programming, it proves the game should have just given everything collected by bots in the first place. What's the point in punishing gamers who have to play by themselves? Funnily enough, this is actually corrected in the next installment.
But that's for a different day.
After paying out the ludicrous 980 coins to our now rich shop owner, Bowser's Magma Mountain becomes available. Magma Mountain is surprisingly decent. As one of the final maps in the game, it'd be easy to assume tantamount levels of difficulty and rage, but no. A snake-like path ultimately leads to a fork, where players have 50-50 chances of visiting Bowser or lucking out with Boo. Bowser steals a star or 20 coins from you, depending on another 50-50 roll. Shortcuts through Snake Path take 10 coins for, you guessed it, a 50-50 chance to pass through! Happening spaces trigger eruptions, flipping blue spots to red for a couple turns. Though Bowser steals stars, getting them is simplified, as many usual gimmicks keeping players at bay are gone. Oddly enough, this has a 3-star rating in difficulty,
Which sits at odds with how easy it is to play and get stars in. This game is so backwards.
After the collecting of 100 stars, Bowser clumsily robs Toad Bank. Noticeably retreating to Adventure Pipe, he beckons to meet at the finale.
Finally! Eternal Star is the best board in Mario Party.
Not for its incredible music or odd art design, but because it actually takes some semblance of skill and thought to navigate.
Even if it's only a little.
Scattered throughout the cutely graffitied star, who knew Bowser was such an artist? Are warp points. Each step on these shoots the user to another spot, which is anywhere from across the map to 5 feet away, some even leading to Boo or Bowser. The aim this time being to reclaim stolen stars from multiple baby Bowsers.
Wait a minute.
Baby Bowser is a recurring villain of the Yoshi franchise. He was designed to be the infant self of Bowser.
So you're telling me Bowser traveled back in time to parallel universes, gathering multiple versions of himself just to complete his master plan? Holy fuck.
Baby Bowser locations are always present and can be seen by simply surveying the map. This gives a greater aspect of control than the common star switching found on typical boards. Users can see their goals instead of crossing fingers hoping to get lucky on spawn locations. Warp points are random and never the same each time Eternal Star kicks off, forcing participants to pay attention during other players' turns. Better yet, accidentally visiting Bowser does something. I know! Re-randomizing all warps and transporting competitors back to start. Once all 7 stars have been taken back, the board reboots again with 7 additional Baby Bowsers.
This is incredible. What a shame it took till the end of the game to get here.
My only complaint lies with the contrived roulette Baby Bowser pushes to earn a star. Though you do get an 8 to 10 block versus his normal one, it's just more of that unnecessary randomness Mario Party always pulls for no reason.
It's time to stop, okay? No more! Where the fuck are your parents?
Boards are Mario Party's most undercooked feature, which is unfortunate considering playtime majority is spent traipsing around these lifeless arenas.
2 play sessions is all it takes to see everything a map has to offer. Sometimes less. A lack of any strategic depth turns a potentially interesting idea into watered down mush where participants just tap A to speed through and reach a minigame. The biggest factor hampering this experience is lack of control. Let's take a look at just how much is out of players' hands in Mario Party. Rolling the dice, what spaces landed on, chance time, random minigames, we'll get to that. Board events, NPCs stealing coins or forcing you into unwanted situations, where Toad spawns, the list goes on and on. Even games critically panned by tabletop enthusiasts like Monopoly offer some form of control to keep people engaged. If randomness is the goal, why not go all out? Make something crazy happen each turn. Look at this. All I'm doing is walking around the board.
Walking around the board.
I'm fucking bored. Blow Mario up. Someone shoot Luigi with a gun. Bowser, do something for Christ's sake. Different map objectives. Every area shares the same goal. Get stars from Toad. This is fine, but they also have similar looping layouts. Why not an arena that's a straight shot from start to finish without a turn count? Or a completely dark play area where users only see 2 or 3 spaces in front of them with no idea where Toad is. We have interesting concepts, but none are pushed far enough to create a satisfying outcome, leaving us to deal with Mario Party's best aspect. Minigames are divvied up into 4 categories: 4-player, 2 vs 2, 1 vs 3, and solo.
To make it simpler, I usually split them into 2.
Ones that suck, ones that don't. Whether you get 4-player, 2 vs 2, or 1 vs 3 depends on each character's color at turn's end, which is determined by spaces landed on and resets after each bout. Solo games function a bit differently, only activating on star spaces. They offer a quick shot at nabbing a few extra coins.
Let's get the good stuff out of the way.
Ghost Guess, Knock Block Tower, Limbo Dance, Teetering Towers, Whack-A-Plant, and Shell Game are examples of this concept done correctly. Even if Ghost Guess is a little derivative.
Really?
Teetering Towers needed to be harder since once jump timing's figured out, it becomes a snore. Knock Block Tower actually takes a little skill and patience, though it really couldn't be classified as fun. Shell Game, because mix-em-ups are always decent time wasters. Limbo Dance is unique in how it deals with timing. Whack-A-Plant, Mario Party's version of Whack-A-Mole, which has players jumping on piranha plants for coins, is a blast. Slot Machine is too plagiaristic of every game ever for it to get a pass. Like, really? This had to be included. Ground Pound is insultingly easy. Players are tasked with butt-stomping flat stumps while avoiding pointed ones. The answers are very clearly seen before being covered by butterflies, and I've never seen anyone fail this. Ever. Should have been a couple more rows of stumps. The same goes for Memory Match, which is the baby version of Super Mario 3's card game. Then there's some absolutely stupid decisions made I can't forgive. While most games give 10 coins and sometimes take away 5 when losing, Whack-A-Plant can have one gaining upwards of 30 coins using proper jump technique with no downside when losing. Piranha Plants don't even bite to slow users down. Why was it okay to purposefully unbalance this one minigame?
Start!
Oh, you knew I'd be talking about this, didn't you?
Garbage, such as a fly guy that records how many times you've rotated the joystick.
We'll be coming back to that one.
Pedal Power features a gradually advancing boo, which will envelop any poor soul stuck on the bike unless they rotate the joystick fast enough.
Mario Party lives in infamy for minigames like this. How these made it past quality assurance to meet final release with how flimsy the N64 joystick is still baffles me.
But pedal power's okay, long as you don't mind this.
I like my joysticks like I like my women.
It must have been rare during playtesting for 2 blue and 2 red at turn's end. You know, since Mario Party sports an anemic 5 2 vs 2 games. While there are too few, what's here is actually pretty good. Bobsled Run has 2 teams competing down a perilous path to see who passes finish first. Both squads kick off frantically mashing to pass the starting line, steering together, quickly cutting each corner and hitting boost pads along the way, hoping to not fall off. Considering this is one of the deeper and more successfully executed challenges, it's a shame we didn't get a couple more track variations with different turns and settings to spice things up a bit. Either way, this one will keep you on the edge of your seat and represents Mario Party's best. Bomb Skip Ball is the perfect example of wasted potential. One team is given a bob-omb basketball and both are tasked with reaching the goal to blow it open. Unfortunately, once 1 point is scored, control of the ball never switches to the losing duo for a best of 3. It just ends. This puts the defenders in an automatic disadvantage, especially since stealing the ball can be difficult due to Mario Party's less than intuitive attacking animations. This match ends far too quickly to really leave any sort of lasting impact, which stands in stark contrast to every other 2 vs 2 game. 2 teams dive for treasure chests in deep sea divers. After grabbing a chest, captains reel divers in by rotating the joystick.
Really? They couldn't have just alternated A and B or something?
Deep Sea Divers is more of a C-tier minigame anyways, as there isn't a trace of compelling opponent interaction while diving. But it is the first of what are called coin minigames, where players receive the amount they collect instead of the typical 10 coins for winning. Desert Dash has both teams attempting to press left and right in unison to reach the end goal. The easiest way to play is to get close to your partner and create a rhythm, chanting left, right, left, right, like crazed lunatics.
Or just pray you get the computer on your team, since no matter what you do, they never screw up. Seriously.
If mistakes are made, your group has a temporary stall out, which costs precious time. A thwomp lingers at the halfway point, threatening to crush eager parties, but that's it. There aren't enough obstacles barring players' paths in this barren wasteland to make it an instant classic like Bobsled Run. Related to Bobsled Run, but not as fun, is Hand Car Havoc, forcing players to mash as fast as possible to build up speed but then slow down and lean into corners to avoid dropping. Not much to add besides it definitely takes getting used to before you're actually good at it. You'll be screaming with anger and delight while playing this one, but its instantly high skill floor will frustrate newer players.
You'd think the key with 1 vs 3 games would be finding that perfect balance so that all players share an equal playing field.
This category includes some of the most broken and thoughtless additions yet. And let's start with my favorite waste of space, Pipe Maze. How the hell is this even a game? Only one player has any input. Oh yeah, drop that box down the pipe. Let's see where it goes. It's impossible to plot out the pattern as the camera whip pans its way up the entire shaft in 1 second flat, so start praying. On a more harsh note, we have Bash and Cash, giving 3 players giant hammers to literally beat the coins out of the poor soul wearing the Bowser suit. This minigame would make more sense if Bowser could fight back, maybe breathe fire to ward players off, but no. All he can do is run and jump. How is this fun for everyone? Bowl Over flips the tables, giving one player a Koopa shell set to knock everyone else down, stealing their coins. Yet another example of poor balancing as bowling pins can't move outside the set triangular pattern. which would be fine if the shell was difficult to control in any capacity.
Starting to see a pattern here?
Coin Block Bash delivers 9 blocks, which 3 players hit multiple times to break open and spill out goodies. The 4th gets a hammer, which can not only smash and stun others, but one-shots bricks. A good strategy is to hover near the hammer player and wait for them to smash blocks, grabbing the goodies before they get the opportunity. Coin Block Bash isn't very good and tightly nestles itself into the filler category. 3 players maneuver on leaf boats while 1 actually wins in Coin Shower Flower. The flower shifts every which way due to player location, but since most gold lands near the stigma, opponents below don't see much. Yes, please, give me something! To make things worse, someone falling off means the game ends. At least keep that timer going for the other 3 players. In Crane Game, 1 functions as determining what to pipe drop for a reward. Inanimate objects like a chest, money bag, and penny can be chosen, which offer their usual amounts. Or opponents, stealing 1/3 their coin total.
Holy ass! Now you have a small taste as to why this is the most brutal Mario Party.
The attacking player slowly moves their shadow above the elected target, bearing down and quickly pressing A as the defender mimics. If the crane doesn't tap A fast enough to maintain control, they lose. I like the touch of showing each player's coin counts on screen and the added layer of choosing who and who not to mess with if you know your friend's button mashing capabilities. Crane Game sets a shining example of a 1 vs 3 minigame done much better, with appropriate balance across the board. The most infamous joystick destroyer of them all.
Paddle Battle.
It's 3 vs 1. Who can destroy their N64 controllers the quickest?
Yeah, rotate that joystick, little Billy. Don't stop till it drops.
Everyone spins rapidly to assure their raft doesn't reach the Shy Guys, which linger near water's edge. Get too close and it's stab time. Bye-bye, coins. Paddle Battle represents Mario Party as a whole. An incredible idea with the poorest execution imaginable. First of all, guy implementing joystick rotation and guy who approved it.
You're fired!
But the pure adrenaline pumping in Paddle Battle is unrivaled anywhere else. That doesn't change the need for this to be a rapid button press or alternation besides permanent joystick destruction. Also, the game doesn't seem to read rotations 100% accurately, but my now ruined joysticks could be the real issue. So, who knows? Piranha's Pursuit. Incredible idea, flawed execution. 3 players ground pound a cloud, which triggers rainfall on a hungry piranha plant dedicated to chasing down the minigame's protagonist. Butt stomping and praying Mr. Piranha approaches your rainfall is all antagonists can hope for as they watch the horror below. Skateboarders must tap quickly to stay ahead while also jumping over obstacles such as boulders and falling stumps. What this game fails to mention is the maximum speed players can achieve. You see, long as you're tapping at a decent pace, you'll always stay ahead with proper jump timing. It's only when falling that participants need to regain maximum speed before being eaten.
Wait, so if the skateboarder never screws up, I auto-lose?
So what you see here is a simple editing trick. While I pour actual vodka into the shot glass in our first take, thanks to the power of editing magic, this is water. Don't ever waste alcohol. When filming any scene where actors are set to squander or drink booze, it helps to use a clear liquor, such as vodka, so that your actors not only dodge intoxication, but you don't waste alcohol.
Piranha Pursuit needed more depth. A couple runs is all it takes to get pretty good at timing jumps. Maybe one player could have been tasked with controlling when stumps fall, or proper timing could give Piranha a boost. Anything, really. tightrope treachery sucks. One player tiptoes straight while 3 aim to knock them off with cannon shots before the finish line. If aiming wasn't so damn awkward with the constantly scrolling camera ruining multiple shot attempts, I might have actually given this a proper look into. Tug of War, our final 1 vs 3 game, is another joystick. Let's just get through this. Similar to Paddle Battle, but much shorter, Bowser Suit and opponents attempt to pull each other into the Sarlacc pit using stick rotation. It seems 1 rotation from Bowser counts for 3, as it's assumed you'll be playing against others on your skill level. The quality is really hit or miss with 4-player games. Due to the malicious makeup of other categories, I entered 4-player Cave anticipating a nail-biting and neck-breaking free-for-all frenzy with brutal coin deduction all around. Imagine my surprise when in some games, players actually work together. What? Balloon Burst has the party alternating button presses to pump and explode a Bowser balloon. Whoever finishes first wins. Timing is of utmost importance, as a bigger pump requires one to wait until they see a flash. A simple, fun minigame that's difficult to master? Well done, Mario Party. A ship lingers in the background, attempting to blow out Mario and company in Bombs Away. The tiny island rocks back and forth with an occasional cannonball explosion, stunning nearby players who move around and jump strategically for fear of falling off and losing. Another great experience, but it could have been a bit more challenging. Staying landbound is pretty effortless unless poor cannonball RNG strikes. Box Mountain Mayhem. Shouldn't even exist. You literally just attack boxes. Oh look, sometimes they jump, like in Mario 64. Why is this here? A game I never understood the endless praise for was Bumper Balls. It drops 4 players balancing on balls into a boring circular arena to attempt pushing each other off. Last idiot standing wins! Eliminating 2 opponents is simple. But after this, a Bumper Balls devolves into a stalemate where players either run from each other or attempt head-on collisions to no avail. Riveting. Adding some abilities, or making the terrain have peaks and dips to aid in knocking opponents off would have made this better. Buried Treasure does this weird thing where it spawns a treasure chest near someone's starting position. Hey, stop doing that. Players direct themselves while tapping quickly to dig and find treasure. Unlike Piranha's Pursuit, maximum speed is no longer a hindrance, so those jamming faster actually dig more rapidly. But let's put the chest more near the middle, maybe. Makes more sense. Thanks.
Flick your joysticks to grab the floating prizes. Time it just right to get that big haul.
Castaways, a minigame starring Tom Hanks, and that's a bad joke, is Mario Party at its most broken. If Coin Shower Flower is busted for the massive hauls received, Castaways dwells in the stratosphere. Players can score a payout upwards of 70 coins with proper timing. No, you heard that right. Here we see the wild Jonny Nitpick searching for what could only be described as balance. I don't think he'll find it. Maybe just give 10 coins to whoever holds the highest loot count, or cascade the earnings down. Imagine little Luigi here was close to Toad, had 0 coins to his name. Castaways turns up, has a go at it, scores 40 coins. Well, Toad's now his bitch, when 90% of the other minigames would have only scored a measly 10. And that's only when winning. Coin games like Castaways, Box Mountain Mayhem, and our next contender chip the harmony of an already frustratingly unbalanced game even further. This kind of shit makes people not come back and play. Coin Block Blitz is... oh... wait a sec. Oh, my bad. I've already covered this. I just got my 3 vs 1 minigames mixed up with... oh... These are separate?
Yeah, you see in this one, you hit the blocks to get the coins, and this one, you hit the blocks a lot to get the coins.
In Crazy Cutter, players tilt the joystick carefully to guide a jackhammer around the edges of various Mario creatures. If done correctly, it bursts free.
What?
Leaving each competitor above 80 points with 10 coins. Perfectly fine, simple minigame. Though it would have been nice to see harder difficulty featuring more complex designs. Super Mario 64 strikes back with Facelift, where characters get handsy, warping and disfiguring Bowser's visage. Prior to player control, a preview is shown to work out precisely what needs altered. This is a well-designed, derivative minigame. But it's not long before Facelift becomes overly simplistic. Improvements could be made, such as additional areas to manipulate Bowser, other than his cheeks, nose, jaw, and eyebrows. Mario Party keeps doling out preschool levels of editing, often requesting players mirror both sides equally instead of offering a real challenge. Then, Grab Bag, where attacking your opponent from behind will yield a reward of 1 or 5 coins. These are taken from true inboard coin totals. So if you're leading in cash, the meanness of this game can't be understated, but the rare possibility of robbing competitors of coins right before reaching a star is welcome and refreshing strategy in a title almost completely devoid of it. Also, does this arena look familiar? A Hammer Bro drops mallets and coins while scrambling fighters vie for dominance below in Hammer Drop.
You want me to put the hammer down?
At least it's better than Coin Shower Flower. Hot Bob-omb has adventurers caged in with a suicidal minion as players bicker over who follows it into passing. Not much strategy here, just try not to hold the bomb when it's bigger. Having a last man standing instead of a one dude loses scenario would have benefited Bob-omb, but honestly, who gives a shit with these boring ass skillless minigames? Maybe it's fine the way it is. End it faster. Hot Rope Jump is probably the funnest, simplistic minigame. Then it's over. Whoever messes up partway through the painfully abrupt 20 jumps gets burned and loses coins while everyone else gains nothing. To win, all combatants need make each jump. Crafting a game requiring group success is not only perplexing for
Mario Party,
but out of place in a game of jump rope. The basic rules of group rope are known. If someone misses a jump, they're ejected. The remaining count that didn't miss then start a new round. Completely ending the minigame instead seems lazy. This choice limits Hot Rope Jump in the worst ways. Given the all or nothing approach, easy jumps were elected, forgoing anything markedly difficult. Was this a decision made as to not upset the younger player base? I sure hope not, because look at the rest of this game! Another team experience, Keep Away, flies parallel to Bomb Skip Ball. 4 players face off against CPU-controlled Koopas, juking and passing to reach the end lock. The same problems with Bomb Skip Ball rear their heads here, if not more. One round isn't enough to wrap your head firmly around the control scheme, and it needed more length. There could be 3 to 5 different rooms players fight through, with distinct foes inhabiting each. Our first being an intro area, akin to Zelda 1's opening, allowing users to become accustomed with passing, moving, and working together before ratcheting up the challenge in subsequent chambers. It isn't even that difficult for one player to bypass the AI, ending it all in mere seconds. Mario Bandstand is Rock Band. Before Rock Band.
Press the button to the beat when your instrument pops up.
A novelty game that now feels very dated. Run! Mushroom Mix-Up is an all-time great, where players either reach the specific shroom or drown. The game ramps up the speed bit by bit each round and isn't long before a winner's declared. Ditching perfection altogether is Musical Mushroom, where combatants auto-walk around a circle until the music stops. Then it's a mad scramble to the top. Top of my ass. Found out recently the smaller mushroom platforms aren't even needed to reach the chest. So what's the point of them? If Mario Party had more refined movement options and Musical Mushroom was more challenging, this would have been a better minigame. Sorry. Platform Peril is a scrolling level taken from an odd angle where players must jump, jump, jump! While it's fun to play, Peril would have improved with more platform variation. I mean, you pretty much just jump forward on these rectangular shaped platforms the entire time. Oops, a wall's in the way. Time to tilt that joystick ever so slightly. But the risk of attempting smaller hops to keep the lead at least keeps this one interesting.
Capping off a short list of horror-themed games is Running of the Bulb.
Starring Lightbulb Man and the Defenders. Thwomps attempt to squash you but are easily avoidable. Bigger Boo is constantly chasing the party, causing the level to slowly scroll. But the biggest threat here are boos that come out of the woodwork. Players can fight back by punching ghosts, but if they get too close, they'll be possessed and chase down the defenseless bulb carrier. Users can save afflicted allies by literally knocking them out of it. It's truly an incredible idea, but a couple missteps bog it down. First of all, the hell is with these hitboxes? Punching a boo can be hit or miss as a thrown punch, even when seemingly solid can whiff completely. This is due to the hitboxes for not only the boos, but the fists being far too small. Second, this hallway's pretty uninteresting. If it was more than just a straight shot to the goal, Running of the Bulb would be phenomenal. Maybe a quick set piece where the defenseless player and allies have to walk across a narrow bridge while still being pursued. Or someone has to find a hidden key to unlock a door before Bigger Boo fully closes in. Bringing it back to basics, Shy Guy Says has players pressing the corresponding button to each flag. Hit the wrong one or take too long. See ya! Shy Guy takes one step further by sometimes tricking players, switching flags last minute.
And I wasn't even trying right there. Imagine what I would have did if I was even trying.
Everybody grab your boards and let's jump back into the 90s with Skateboard Scamper. Skaters race across a collapsing bridge, timing vaults over randomly placed thwomps to see who reaches the goal first. This, like Piranha's Pursuit, has that maximum speed set until the final stretch where the camera whips around to a different angle. That's when the button mashing really counts. This is another game that could have used more obstacles, as after a few play sessions, no one really falls off anymore.
Boring.
Slot Car Derby's interesting as you only control the speed at which your RC car operates. Moving the joystick forward increases acceleration, but keep max speed during turns and you'll peel out. Balance is key, and an added nice touch are the multiple tracks. Tilting a platform to complete a picture using a Koopa shell.
Mario logic.
Tipsy Tourney awards victory to whoever colors in all tiles first, but we needed more variety in picture shapes, and come on. Lastly,
Finally!
we have Treasure Divers, which is deep sea divers with no strings attached. It also makes the AI go completely stupid, even on their hardest difficulty. Guess they weren't programmed to account for underwater organisms. This trumps deep sea divers in there actually being ocean life, highlighting the dullness of its 3 vs 1 counterpart.
We just talked about 50 distinct minigames. I made it.
Now let's divvy all these into ranks and decide what needed to be kept versus chucked. Tier 1 represents near perfection. These are games Hudson Soft should be proud of. They require little to no work on improvement and represent the best Mario Party has to offer. Tier 2 displays good games that with a little more effort put in could have stepped up into that near perfection realm. This is also the biggest tier, as many unfortunately have massively untapped potential. Tier 3 are games that should have had much more thought put in. They function more as filler content, serving to satisfy that 50 minigame total. Tier 4 is utter crap that shouldn't even be here at all. There's no improving these, it's just time to go. With the hierarchy set in stone, we need to highlight overall issues. The reason Bobsled Run is so well made, besides the great balance of simplicity versus depth, is length. Some of the better minigames aren't given any time to shine before they abruptly end, usually sticking to one round of play instead of offering multiple different locales and challenges before dumping everyone back to the map. Mario Party also would have fared better without the stiff, tank-like controls accompanying every movement-based minigame. Jumping and attacking never feel fleshed out like they should. Any action steals too many movement frames with oddly disjointed hitboxes, causing each character to act as slow, lethargic versions of themselves, rather than the peppy, vitalic cast we've come to know and love. A simple comparison to more properly implemented, tight control schemes like Super Mario 64 and Smash Bros. Immediately highlight how obvious a backseat gameplay depth took. And the AI! For some strange reason, Mario Party's set to have 4 players on at all times.
No takesy backsies.
My guess for this blemish existing is a majority of minigames wouldn't function correctly with only 2 or 3 players. Let's look at what would work and what would need slightly altered with fewer players. Yup. All these would be fine. For anything featuring enemies like running of the bulb or keep away, have the game spawn in less foes to account for fewer players. In 2 vs 2 minigames, just assign the single player a random bot permanently set to hard for assistance. This really isn't some impossible undertaking. The main problem is, computer players are a nuisance. You're forced to watch their every action during board play. Being confronted by Bowser, buying a star, interacting with any NPC, blah 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 blah. Their AI is poorly implemented on the board and most minigames, ranging all over the place from busted to brain dead. Mario Kart 64 and Smash Bros. Don't force an arbitrary 4-player count. Neither does Ocarina of Time.
Wait, what?
Not giving players the option to remove these wards demonstrates how little Mario Party cares for player agency. A brief, fun distraction is Minigame Island, a separate mode mimicking the classic Super Mario overworld, where specific stages can be entered and completed. But rather than short bursts of platforming genius, specifically tailored minigames inhabit each level. Collect a certain number of coins, be the last man standing, get the best score. While nothing mind-blowing is present here, Island serves as a much-needed departure from board game tedium and assists in extending Mario Party's mileage. Even if I don't always agree with the sometimes strict, mandatory minimums required for completion of the more luck-based games. Players are given a set number of lives to get through each world, and can return to previous stages to gather more if need be. Koopa greets and saves progress every 5 levels or so, making each area never feel too grindy. The difficulty scales until reaching a conclusion in the clouds, where players race against Toad in Slot Car Derby. For some reason. And what do you get after you trek through 9 different, varied, and sometimes extremely difficult worlds?
This.
Is this a fucking joke? This reveals another issue eating at Mario Party's core. Unlockables.
Why are there so many question marks here in the minigame house?
Minigames can't be purchased until encountered naturally through board play.
Did you say purchased?
Waiting for the correct, completely random roulette choice isn't enough. Once discovered, each game then appears in the minigame house for astronomical prices. Slot Car Derby 2 for
500.
That's half what I paid for an entire board. Think of if you played all the way through story mode in Smash Bros., bested the secret fighter, made your way back to the main menu to find the characters arbitrarily locked until you collect more points in story mode. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mario Party.
This entire game is a massive time sink. Just like this review! This needs to end.
Enter a pot of skills, handicapped at 50 coins, switch PC control. Enjoy a cup of joe while the game plays itself. Return before the game ends, switch control back to human. Rinse. Repeat. Mario Party is lacking in so many various ways, from obvious to ambiguous, that it feels like a tech demo which got unintentionally loaded with all the content of a full-fledged title. Boards needed diversity and depth to hold player engagement. Minigames are largely half-baked with unexplored ideas and unrefined controls. There's an unforgivable disregard for players' time. It's a mess. Minigames and board play needed to be integrated. Instead, they exist as two separate halves, splitting into the lively and stale sections. While spaces players arrive on showcase changes the board makes on one half by assigning teams, minigames don't reciprocate in any way besides coin count. Simple additions like completely changing turn order in favor of the winner, letting fourth place choose which game to play, or even forcing dice with smaller roll totals to someone who's too far ahead of the pack would be a small start. As it stands, there's not a lot Mario Party does that's above average.
But there's something no one can ever take away.
The fucking music!
Welcome to my mine. We are mining diamonds.
You know what? They did do one thing right.